The sound still lingered, not the joy you'd expect from a housewarming, but sharp, cutting laughter that seemed to slice through the silence of my new living room. I stood frozen in the center of it all, fingers wrapped around a glass I hadn't even touched, trembling like the foundation of everything I thought I knew was crumbling beneath me. A few hours ago, my mother's voice had dripped with disdain over the phone. Why waste time on some housewarming party? It's probably just a rental. Anyway, who celebrates living in something they don't own? The words had cut deep, but what hurt more was hearing my whole family echo her sentiment. My father, my sister Hannah, even my quiet younger brother joining in with that familiar dismissive tone they'd used my entire life. This was supposed to be my moment. I had worked nights, saved every penny, built something real on my own. For the first time, I had stepped out from under their shadow, and still, they wouldn't even cross the threshold to see. The house suddenly felt too big, too quiet. My palms pressed against the marble counter as I tried to steady myself, shame clawing at my chest like I had no right to even stand there. I wanted to scream, to prove them wrong, but the silence in the empty room only made their laughter ring louder in my head. That's when a hand touched mine, steady, warm, grounding. Emily. Daniel's voice was calm, but beneath it simmered a steel edge I rarely heard. His eyes, deep and unwavering, fixed on me like he could see every battle waging in my mind. Why are you letting them steal your moment? I shook my head, my voice breaking. Because they're right. They think this house isn't mine, that I couldn't possibly deserve it. And maybe they're right, Daniel. Maybe I don't belong here. Finally treat you like you're worth something, he said, his tone hardening. Emily, I married you because you never needed their approval. You built yourself up when they tried to bury you. And if they can't see it, that's on them. The room blurred. My husband rarely raised his voice, but there was something different in him now, a quiet power simmering beneath the surface. I swallowed hard, searching his eyes. But what if I can't? You can. His hand cupped my jaw, forcing me to look at him. And if they think this is a rental, let me remind them exactly whose name is on the deed. Maybe it's time the truth came out. My stomach dropped. My heart slammed against my ribs. Daniel had always been private, protective about who he was and what he had. I never pushed because the life we lived was more than enough. But now his words carried weight. What truth? I whispered, though part of me already knew. The corner of his mouth curved not in a smile, but something sharper. A decision. They laughed because they don't know who you are. Maybe it's time they learn who I am. The sound of tires crunching on the driveway shattered the silence. My father's booming voice carried in from outside, mocking even as he climbed the steps. Let's see this little palace of hers. Probably smells like paint from the landlord. Daniel's eyes locked on mine, unwavering. Are you ready? I wasn't sure if I was, but the look in his eyes told me it didn't matter. Whatever was about to happen would change everything. The front door burst open before I could answer. My father walked in first, Hannah right behind him with that smug half-smile she always wore when she thought she had the upper hand. My mother trailed behind, her sharp perfume announcing her arrival before her heels even touched the polished floor. Well, my father said, glancing around with narrowed eyes. It's bigger than I thought, but still smells like a new rental. Probably a 6-month lease, right? Don't get too comfortable, Emily. We all know you couldn't afford this place. Hannah let out a laugh, loud, deliberate, as if she were performing for an audience. Honestly, Dad, you're being generous. She probably just begged some landlord to let her pretend this was hers for a night. She looked at me, her smile spreading. Did you buy fake furniture too? Or is this one of those staged houses they use for photo shoots? My mother's eyes swept across the space, her lips pursed like she'd bitten into something sour. A marble counter? Please. She's probably drowning in credit card debt, always chasing appearances, never reality. Some things never change. Their words pelted me like stones, each one heavier than the last. I could feel my throat closing, my pulse racing. But before I could say a word, Daniel stepped forward. He didn't raise his voice. He didn't need to. The weight in his tone silenced the room instantly. This isn't a rental, he said flatly. My father snorted. Oh. Then what is it? Did you both suddenly win the lottery? Because last I checked, Emily's job couldn't buy her a front porch, let alone this place. Daniel's gaze sharpened. No lottery, no debt, no landlord. He slid his hand into mine, steady and certain. This house is hers, paid for in full. The air shifted. My sister's smile faltered just slightly, but but my father barked out another laugh, unwilling to let go of the script he'd been rehearsing his whole life. Paid for? By who? You? His eyes raked over Daniel, dismissive. What do you even do? Son-in-law? Some kind of contractor? Or maybe a mid-level manager? Let me guess, you stretched every last penny for this little show. Daniel's expression didn't change, but his presence filled the room in a way I'd never seen before. He didn't flinch. He didn't stammer. His words came out deliberate, each syllable cutting through the tension like glass breaking. I'm not a contractor. I'm not a manager. I'm Daniel Hayes, CEO of H&L Holdings. The silence was deafening. My father blinked, confusion flooding his face. Hannah froze mid-smirk, her lipstick-glossed lips parting. My mother's hand clutched the strap of her purse so tightly her knuckles turned white. You're what? Hannah's voice cracked. Daniel's eyes never left my father's. H&L Holdings, real estate, tech, investments. Maybe you've read about us in the Wall Street Journal, maybe not. We're selective about publicity. He paused, letting the weight settle. But let me be perfectly clear. I bought this house in Emily's name. It belongs to her, and only her. I swear I could hear the sound of Hannah's breath hitching. My father tried to recover, his voice louder now, as if volume alone could reestablish control. That's impossible. If you were who you claim, we'd have known. Nobody keeps that kind of money a secret. Daniel tilted his head slightly, his grip on my hand tightening. Maybe you would have known if you ever asked your daughter about her life instead of mocking it, but you never did. Did you? You assumed she was beneath you, that she'd never escape the little box you built for her, and now you're standing in her home pretending it's a stage set because the truth terrifies you. Hannah's eyes darted between me and Daniel, her confidence unraveling. Wait, you mean you've been married to a billionaire this whole time? I finally found my voice, though it trembled at first. Yes, and I didn't say anything because I didn't want you to see me differently. I wanted to be valued for who I am, not for who my husband is. But maybe that was naive of me. My mother shook her head, disbelief flashing in her eyes. So all this house, this luxury, it wasn't you. It was him. Daniel's jaw tightened. Wrong. I gave her the keys, but she built the courage to walk through the door. She's the one who held her ground when you tried to tear her apart. Money doesn't make strength. She already had that long before me. For the first time, my father didn't have an immediate comeback. His face flushed a deep red, veins pushing against his temples as the silence dragged on. Emily, Hannah finally muttered, her tone weak. Why didn't you tell us? I let out a bitter laugh, shaking my head. Tell you? So you could turn my life into another weapon? So you could say I only mattered because of him? You've never cared who I am unless it gave you something to sneer at. That's why you weren't invited into this house. It wasn't an accident. It was a choice. The weight of my words settled heavy, and for once, none of them dared to laugh. Daniel's voice, steady and final, broke the silence. This is Emily's housewarming. If you can't respect her, you're free to leave. But understand this, your place in her life is not guaranteed. That choice belongs to her now, not you. The room went so quiet I could hear the clock ticking in the hallway. My father's jaw worked furiously, but no sound came out. My mother glanced away, shame flickering across her face, though pride kept her lips sealed. Hannah just stared wide-eyed, like the foundation of her world had just cracked. And me? For the first time in years, I stood taller, not because of the house, not even because of Daniel's wealth, but because in that moment, I finally understood something. Their laughter no longer defined me. Their disbelief no longer broke me. For the first time, I wasn't standing in their shadow. I was standing in my own light, and the silence in the room told me they knew it too.